the questions that are being asked, I'd like to mostly address, so this is my preference, is questions that affect how you walk, questions about living this out, all right? I know there's a lot of questions that have always bothered you, like, over here in this obscure prophet somewhere, this thing that was said, whatever. I get that. We can hopefully get to some of those at some point as well. But to be most useful, this ministry has been mandated, okay, given the commission to help you know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, all those kind of things, so that you can live this and walk this out, okay? What he's always told me is, tell them that if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they'll be where they're supposed to be. But you need a teacher to teach you what it is you need to be doing. Now, I know that everybody immediately wants to go into eschatology stuff and end time stuff and everything else. I'm going to offend some of you, and I don't mean to, but that is not very functionally useful, okay? There's not a single scripture anywhere. Don't tell me, well, it says he who has ears to hear, and because he's trying to speak something that a teacher could tell you about the behavior of a particular, what they call the assemblies that are in Revelation. That's one thing. But understand, the primary focus is not that you should know when he's coming. What you need to know is that he's coming. You should be excited on some levels, like, when James talks about being in a fiery trial. You should be excited when things are not ideal, because it challenges you. All right? You learn nothing when everything is so easy and just smooth the way you would want it to be. And so I've often had people in the congregation that were really, most would agree, were very challenging to everybody. And I've had people come up to me and say, well, how come you let that person? And I said, whatever's going on right now in your face and in your head and your emotions, that's why. Because you need to deal with that. I mean, if you notice people hanging out together after they've been here a little while, they tend to be groups of people that are similar in some ways. And I'm not talking about just like skin color or gender or some other thing, but it has to do with likes and dislikes, and they are attracted to each other because they feel more comfortable because they have the same things to talk about or feel the same way about them. More it's about feelings. All the people that don't like certain things or certain people, they all kind of hang out together. They all don't like the same person. This is not the way to do this. Okay? That's just not the way to do this. You should have one little part of your vision always looking out for somebody to invite into whatever little group you may have and help make them feel welcome, all right? You have to do things because it will bless other people. But we do tend to manifest in our lives, and I'm not saying this in any new agey way, that which we focus on, because the more we focus on it, the more the inspiration and thought that may come in your head, we act upon it, as opposed to if we don't focus on it. And that could be good or bad. This is why we talk about the instruction that Yeshua said, where he says, to lust after a woman is ultimately going to lead to adultery. Even though, so he says, yes, you've heard of old, don't commit adultery, but to even do this is a problem. And the reason is because if you are focusing on, eventually an action will come about, or opportunity will come about, and then the action will come about. Because it's based on not just a thought, but an embraced thought, a focused on thought, a habitual thought. So you can't become anything more than what you believe you can become. Of course, you could become anything if you change what you believe. Do you understand what I just said? And you have to be able to do this to be able to become him. Oh my goodness, you are so not him. Okay? I'm not trying to pick on anybody. We are just not even close in so many ways. But he says, if we believe it, that we can be him. But if you don't believe it, it ain't gonna happen. All right? You're going to self-sabotage. Whatever emotion you have trouble with is because you've not created any space for you to realize it's a choice. Whether it's anger, hurt feelings, sadness, depression, whatever negative emotion you have, you didn't have to have it. Okay, those of us who get angry, do you like being angry? No. So why do you do it? That's a great question. So then why do you do it? Those of you who are always upset and have your feelings hurt, do you like having your feelings hurt? So why do you do it? What do you mean, why do I do it? They did it to me. No, they didn't. Yes, they did. No, they didn't. They did something. Maybe you were even the object of what they did, but you did not have to choose to feel that way. Even if you're right and it goes badly, they needed to experience that themselves. Okay? Child has a job. You know the child's supposed to be at work at a certain time, they're still asleep. So you go and wake them up. Well, don't do that. Let them be late. Let them learn a lesson. Let them realize that they should have plugged their phone in. Let them whatever it is. But no, you want to rescue. Stop. That's the selfish person's always trying to rescue somebody that doesn't want to be rescued or doesn't need to be rescued, but they need to learn something. Okay? So it's a hard term because we normally think of selfish meaning that it's something that's to benefit you. But you know what? It is to benefit you when you're still trying to help somebody and that doesn't really need to be helped because you want to do it. You want to think that, that you're doing that kind of thing. I know it's a little complicated to kind of reconcile those two ideas.
Is it okay to heat and eat pre-cooked frozen food on Shabbat, like frozen waffles, frozen meals, et cetera, et cetera?
All right. The way that we have basically made the right ruling, so to speak, like a Deuteronomy 17 type of thing about food on Shabbat. I have, and through the leadership in our discussions, we have concluded that anything that you can eat in its current state, but it would just it'd be more enjoyable if it was warm, you can heat up or warm up on Shabbat. Okay, so something that is frozen, you can't actually eat it in that state. Okay? So that's involving a whole lot more. Elisha told her, fill the jars. But she had to go get the jars. Even though she's sitting there going, this is nuts, this is crazy, I don't have enough to fill all those jars, right? But you do it anyway, and it works. And that's belief. And that's the evidence of belief through action, right? Through belief, she went and got all those jars. And you're sitting there, we look at us today going, if I told you to do that, you'd be like, I don't have enough to fill the jars with. Where's that going to come from? So why are you worried about it? Just follow directions. If it's coming from the right place, you should trust it and that kind of thing. Just follow directions. And if you do, it works.